Thank you very much. I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
So, hello from my side. I'm Thomas Faber, and I'm part of the team at ITSA, the International Token Standardization Association. And today I'm going to talk about the flagship project of ITSA. And as the title indicates, it's going to be about a register for token data. Let me just briefly give you some basic information about ITSA, ITSA's objectives, and our fields of activity. ITSA is a not-for-profit association that now counts more than 200 members from all across the globe, and we aim at promoting the development and implementation of comprehensive market standards. And market standards for, of course, cryptographic tokens. And in order to increase the transparency and safety on global token markets, we currently develop 3 different projects. Number 1 is the International Token Identification Number, or short ITIN. Number 2 is the International Token Classification, or ITC. And number 3 is the International Token Database, or short TOKENBASE. Now, the focus of today's presentation will be on the classification and the analysis, meaning that I will first talk about the International Token Classification and then about the integration of the ITC to the TOKENBASE. But let's start with a big picture. The TOKENBASE is a large database that combines qualitative and quantitative data for the comprehensive analysis of all types of tokens. Currently, we have more than 1,200 tokens registered in the database, of which 900 have already been classified manually. The TOKENBASE integrates quantitative and qualitative data, as I said, consisting of 3 different groups. Number 1, the identification data. That consists, for example, of data related to the unique identifier ITIN. Then we have the classification data of the ITC, and we have market data such as reference prices, trading volumes, and more. I'm proud to say that we've progressed a lot on the technical solution of the TOKENBASE. We're almost there, and we're going live soon. So let me introduce you to version 0.9 of the ITC. This version was covering economic, technological, and legal aspects of tokens in a total of 4 dimensions. Why do I say was covering? Because we've recently published a new version, version 1.0, which accounts for the latest developments in DeFi and MiCA. But let me still start with the older version because that gives me the opportunity to lay the focus on the other 2 dimensions for MiCA and DeFi later, and to emphasize them a little bit more. So we have economic purpose, we have industry, technological setup, and legal claim. So you might say, well, that's difficult to grasp. What does that mean? So for that, I've provided a few examples. Example number 1, you probably all know, Bitcoin. Bitcoin is classified by ITSA as a payment token, or more specifically an unpegged payment token, as part of the economic purpose dimension. So what does that mean? An unpegged payment token is a token whose value is determined solely through supply and demand on the market without any peg to another reference value. In contrast to that, a pegged payment token is a token whose value is pegged to a specific value or asset in order to decrease its volatility, so to better reflect the classic characteristics of money. And you might have heard of pegged payment tokens as stable coins. Then we have the technological setup, which ITSA defined for Bitcoin as a ledger native token. And that means it's a token that is implemented by means of a distributed ledger protocol and thus forms an integral part of such a software protocol. The same technological setup is valid for Ethereum. It's a ledger native token, but it's not a payment token. It's a utility token, or more specifically, according to the ITC, a settlement token. Settlement token or transactional tokens that are designed solely as means of transaction settlement within the environment. So as you can see, that's kind of how it goes. We have more dimensions, and all dimensions have categories and subcategories and classes. We'll stick to that level right now, but I hope this gives you some idea of how the classification works. We want to do this with all tokens worldwide, and by that we want to build the largest registry for tokens. So a little bit of a different example is Amazing Blocks. Amazing Blocks is classified as an equity token and a non-native protocol token. So it's a different example because I don't know if you've heard of Amazing Blocks. It's the first company ever founded in Liechtenstein without a bank account, but instead with Ether as initial non-cash contribution. So an equity token within the ITC refers to equity according to the classification of financial instruments, or short CFI, including shares, depository receipts and equities, and structured equity products. It's a non-native protocol token, or more specifically an ERC20 token, as you can see in the technological setup dimension. And that means a non-native protocol token is, as it already says, it's not native, as I just defined it with Bitcoin and Ethereum, but it's rather non-native, built on a native distributed ledger set, such as the ERC20 Ethereum token standard. Just a quick list of investment tokens. You can see the ITC code. EEP stands for economic purpose, and 23E stands for investment tokens. And you see they never come alone. The labels, they always have an ITIN, a unique identifier that makes them fork resiliently identifiable at any time. Here's just a quick graph to see what you can do with TOKENBASE. You have on the left-hand side the economic purpose, and you have the technological setup on the right-hand side. We can combine these two and see that, for example, just a sample statistics here, a majority of the top 600 tokens are ERC20 utility tokens. Okay, now let me, as I just announced in the beginning, we have recently published version 1.0 of the ITC. This means we have now in total 6 dimensions, and we're covering economic, technological, legal, and regulatory aspects of tokens now. So first, I want to talk about the issuer type. The issuer type is very important because it accounts for all the DeFi projects, CBDCs, and latest market developments. So we included that or integrated it into the framework to be ready for future developments. As you can see, it's divided in legal entity and entity without legal personality. Legal entity covers, for example, private and public sector companies, associations, central banks, ministries, and prominent examples include Binance USD, STOs in general, as they have those requirements from a regulatory side. A bit more exciting is entities without legal personality, as we've seen often, and we've heard it in some keynotes this morning. In DeFi projects that are fully decentralized, we're not able to clearly identify the issuers behind it. And so what we do is we treat the software protocols as issuers and differentiate between the distributed ledger protocols and application layer protocols. Prominent example is Bitcoin, and as I said, also some fully decentralized DeFi projects. Now, the new regulatory dimension, regulatory status, European Union accounts for MiCA, and I'm sure all of the people that are listening have at least heard a little bit about it. And for us, it was very important to integrate MiCA as a new dimension into the framework. So MiCA differentiates between asset reference tokens, e-money tokens, and utility tokens. asset reference tokens are tokens that intend to maintain a stable value by referring to value of several fiat currencies at once, one or more commodities, one or more crypto assets, or a combination of these. And prominent examples include DAI and Digix Gold Coin. Then we have e-money tokens. They are in a form similar to the asset reference tokens, but they intend to maintain the stable value by referring to just a single fiat currency, such as USD coin or crypto franc, referring to the Swiss francs. Then we have the utility tokens, and utility tokens, according to MiCA, are quite similar to our own definition. They provide a certain type of utility within an environment defined by the issuer of a token, such as basic attention token or the fund token. As you can see on the left-hand side, you have the ITC codes and you have the labels again, and you see the hierarchy. We're breaking it down a little bit further, but due to the time constraints today, I'm not going to be able to discuss them, but we'll of course be happy to share this with you afterwards. Okay, let's put it all together. ITSA aims to build the world's largest token registry and would like to combine quantitative and qualitative data. Now, I've presented to you that we got ready for the latest market developments on DeFi, CBDC. We've included MiCA, and now we can do some very interesting things. What you can see here is a list of tokens. In this case, those are security token offerings. But that's not all. What you can do is you can actually retrieve all tokens filtered by classification parameters. So it doesn't matter what you want to read. You can classify it. You can filter it according to the dimension, the categories, subcategories. You can list all tokens that are in the scope of MiCA and show their classification parameters. You can list all security tokens. You can list all investment tokens in the real estate industry, and you're even able to combine it with, for example, reference prices, trading volumes, and other market data, and other data from reputable data providers. Now, if you click on a token, you get to a token detail page. And that detail page shows some individual token data, such as token label, the item. We have the unique identifier here as well. And as you can see, the unique identifier is everywhere a token is in the token base. You have some information on the block explorer, on various project links, and you can also see the ITC data over here. If you scroll down a little bit, and that's not a part where I just want to briefly talk about the reference or identification parameters as well. You can see a QR code that is reflecting the item. And the neat thing about this is you can simply print this QR code into a legal contract, for example, a token purchase agreement, and you can literally permanently refer to it because the item is a unique identifier that is resilient to forks. So you can print it, put it in a contract, and never worry about it again. So you don't have to worry that you're referring to a token that might be on a different fork, on a different ledger a couple of years from now. So to end my presentation, I just wanted to emphasize again, we are in ongoing exchange with a lot of industry players on major topics and with standardization bodies, research institutes, token market data providers, and so on. And as you all know, there is a lot going on. There's a lot to adjust to, and it's been a great challenge to actually build the foundation for a classification framework with all these changes going on. As you can imagine, it's quite difficult to build a foundation that's not breaking if market developments change rapidly. So all this is possible with the help of our team members, but also the members of ITSA and all the industry players and research institutes we're cooperating with. So please let me know if you want to receive more information or if you want to be part of ITSA. We would be happy to have you on board and to create a future of token market standards together with you. Thank you very much.